go of me.
No, we're going to the car. Come on.
Please let go of me.
No.
Please let go of me.
On August 9th, 2023, in Ohio, police were dispatched to a check cashing store in reference to a woman using a fake ID to try to cash a $28,000 check.
Hello, miss. You being helped with them right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Do you mind? You have paperwork for her? Yeah. Ma'am, do you have your ID on you?
No, that's the only one I'm getting a new one. I'm waiting for the BMV to send me like the hard plastic copy.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mind if I see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
The issue.
Just taking a look at this real fast.
Okay.
Is this your current address on here?
Yes.
Quebec?
Yes, Quebec, yes.
Okay.
If there was an issue.
Right here is where things start tightening legally. When officers question the legitimacy of an ID, they're not just being cautious, they're establishing probable cause. And notice her response. She insists everything is legit, but her explanation is scattered, mentioning a job she no longer has in documents from different sources. That inconsistency matters. In fraud-related cases, documentation is everything. If your ID doesn't match official records instantly, it raises red flags. Now think about this. If you were in her position, would you stay calm and clarify? Or would you start over-explaining like this? Because over-explaining can sometimes signal panic more than innocence.
Possibly. We're going to take a look here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is the issue?
We just want to make sure that this is a proper document.
Okay, that's fine.
You got this from the DMV?
Yes.
Okay. All right, give me just a moment, okay?
Okay. I mean, I got, everything is, legit. I got it from, this I got from where I work. I don't currently work there anymore. I quit after this, and then I got that from the DMV.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, give me just a second here, okay?
Okay. And he can even call and verify it. I'm pretty sure there's a number somewhere. And then I have this tool also. This one here. That comes out.
Is that on there?
This just says your address.
Gotcha. $205, copy of DL.
79 copy. 205.
Robert Zebra 104347.
You break it.
Ten-4. Thank you.
Alright, go ahead and turn around and transfer back.
Oh, can I?
Nope.
I have to call.
Nope.
I have to call.
Right now you're going to put it
Okay,
behind your back.
can I put this in my pocket, please?
Just put it on the counter.
Okay,
Put it
I'm
down.
going to put it in my pocket. Okay, I'm
Stop.
going to.
Hey,
Oh, is that right there?
Hey, I have to call my kids.
Okay,
I
we'll
have
get
to
there.
make sure who has my kids
keep your hands
knows
behind your
what's
back.
going
Stop
on.
pulling. Stop.
I don't know what the issue is.
We're going to figure that out here, okay?
Okay, so I'm being put in
Just relax here.
cuffs?
Yes,
Because of
just
what?
relax.
You're not even telling me what is going on. I don't understand.
We'll get to that.
I've never been in a situation like this. Like, I'm completely confused. Like, And you're not even telling me.
This is the turning point. The officer explicitly states the ID is fake, and legally that changes everything. At this moment, we move from suspicion to active criminal investigation. Her reaction? Immediate denial and accusations of privacy violations. But here's the reality. Once officers have probable cause, they are legally allowed to search and detain. Her argument about privacy doesn't hold up here. What's more interesting is the emotional shift. She goes from confusion to confrontation. That sudden escalation often signals that the stakes just became real. So ask yourself, does her reaction feel like genuine shock, or someone realizing they've been caught?
What's going on?
Your license isn't coming back to you. It's not an Ohio driver's license. It's a fake one.
How is it fake?
Put it right here. You gotta click that. Stop. Don't reach into anything. Stop.
No, because
Stop.
that's a violation of privacy. Oh my God. Yes, it is.
No.
Yes, it is. You just can't go through my
Stop
things
pulling
like
on the
that.
cuffs.
They hurt.
You're under arrest.
They hurt.
Stop.
You don't have to do all this. Like, you're hurting me.
Keep your hands
Okay,
still.
I'm trying to put them down. If you
Okay,
would
then put them down.
stop.
Stop reaching for stuff.
Oh my God, what can I reach for? You're
Back down
hurting
these
me.
pockets.
I don't have nothing in my pockets.
Stop.
Okay, can you please let go of me? I'm not gonna go nowhere.
No,
There's
it's not
three
this
of y'all,
works.
and I'm one person. Please do not touch my ass.
I'm just back
Okay,
of my
that's
hand.
fine, but I don't feel comfortable with you doing that.
I'm just doing it for officer safety here. It's the
Oh
back of my hand.
God.
Stop
Can you
reaching.
please
No.
let
We're
go
going
of
to the-
me?
No.
This moment is intense, and it highlights a critical legal concept: compliance during arrest. Riga, this moment is intense, and it highlights a critical legal concept: compliance during arrest. Regardless of whether someone believes the arrest is justified, resisting, even verbally escalating, can make the situation worse. The officers are now focused on control and safety, not debate. She repeatedly says she's being hurt, which could raise concerns about use of force, but at the same time, officers are responding to movement and resistance. It's a delicate balance. Legally, these moments are often reviewed frame by frame. Now here's a question for you. Do you think the officers handled this appropriately? Or did this situation escalate more than it needed to?
We're going to the car. Come on.
Please let go of me.
No.
Please let
No.
go of me. You're hurting me, bro.
Hey, walk.
Okay, I am. Can you please let go?
No.
You are hurting me. You are hurting me.
Out.
You're hurting me because the
By
cuffs,
walking?
the cuffs are pulling on my wrist and they're hurting me.
Well, they're not meant for comfort.
Okay, but they don't have to be this tight. I'm one little ass person. There's three of you. This shit's ridiculous. Please let go of me.
No.
Please let go of me. Please let go. You're hurting me.
Go ahead and take a seat.
You're hurting me.
Seat.
I don't care. You're hurting me.
Buckle you in so you don't get hurt.
How the fuck am I gonna get hurt? I'm in the back of the fucking car.
Because it's state law to have you buckled in.
Can you at least loosen it?
Go ahead and turn the car on, turn the camera on. No, they're properly spaced.
No, they're not. They're tight. I'm telling you,
They're not.
they hurt. They are tight. How are you gonna tell me? They're on me. They're not on you.
You find a real ID?
Yeah, I gave this one. Well, after that thing, read her rights and everything.
You want to go ahead and read her rights and let her know what's going on, see if she wants to answer any questions?
Yeah. Give me a second. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Miranda here. Let me make sure I got it right.
Here's who she actually is.
Now the pieces start coming together, and it's not looking good for her. We've got a $28,000 check, someone else's name, and now mention of a social security number that doesn't belong to her. That combination points toward identity fraud and forgery, which are serious felony charges. And notice the officers, they're calmly connecting the dots, building a case in real time. This is how investigations evolve. Small inconsistencies stack into major evidence. But here's the twist. At this point, we still don't know intent. Was she knowingly involved? Or was she manipulated? Because legally, intent can make a huge difference in sentencing.
Gotcha.
I'll let you do that. Is that even a good check? $28,000. Did they say if the check was bad or just the ID? I'm sure they just checked the ID. She's got somebody else's social here. I'll let you go through all this.
Okay. Thank you.
First and foremost, and then
Okay. Yeah, let me just gather my thoughts for a second.
Yeah.
So this was in here, and then
she has a forged government document
okay,
in someone else's name.
gotcha.
She's got other people's
There's another-
information in there.
Okay.
Can I make a phone call, please?
Yeah, when we get to jail.
I'm not going to be there long.
Let me just set this on receipt for a second.
Sure.
I'm allowed a bond. I need to call for my kids.
All right, we can take care of that later. Okay.
Okay, how? What's
So
later?
you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court.
Okay, I have one question. Am I allowed a bond?
You have the right to an attorney if you cannot afford one.
Am I allowed a bond, though? This is what I'm
We'll get all
asking.
this stuff figured out. Do you have any questions right now?
I need to make a couple phone calls.
We'll get that figured out later, okay?
What's later? I have to get a hold of my kids so they know what's going on.
We have to get to jail and process it first.
Yeah, you'll get a call later.
What's later, though, is what I'm asking. I'm going to be worried. I have to call my fiance.
Okay. All right. Do you want to answer any questions about what's going on here today?
No, I don't.
No?
I'd rather be quiet because you guys are known to twist words.
But yes, you said somebody was able to.
I do have one question. When am I going to be able to get my belongings?
$300 in cash and
Excuse me.
back into her purse.
Excuse me.
She said she canceled
Excuse
the
me.
orders that were taken
Excuse me.
when she started getting fraud alerts on them.
Excuse me. Hello? Hello? When am I going to be able to get my belongings? Excuse me? Hello? When am I going to be able to get my belongings? That's the only question I have.
Man, we're gonna get that figured out, okay?
Why can't you tell me
We're
anything?
gonna get you booked in.
Why
and
can't
you'll
you
be
tell
able to
me
make a call,
anything?
and then we'll figure out about your belongings, okay?
Will I be able, if I get bonded, will I be able to receive them back? My ID and my phone and my purse?
We'll get that figured out. I'm not sure all the details yet. We're looking through here and just trying
Why
to figure it out, okay?
Can't you tell me? You're the one that has my belongings.
3 socials, 2 DL, 3 DL.
The socials that are in there belong to me and my children. And you can look that up and you'll see that that's proof. Those socials are my children's and mine. Well, not even mine. Mine isn't in there, but my children's. I have 3 children, and I could tell you their names and their birthdays. Those are theirs. They're all my children. So everything in that wallet is mine. And it's nothing else. And like I said, you can look it up and you can see for yourself. Everything in my purse and my wallet belongs to me. And they're all legit. Like I said, you can look them up and you can check. And the 2 IDs in there are both mine. They both have my ID, my names on them, and my address. One is a passport photo, and the other one is a regular BMV one. I went to the Walgreens on Clark yesterday and got that done. The passport ID. And you can also look into that and see that that's the truth.
Anything else in there?
Not that I'm seeing that has any relevance.
Like I said, though, everything is mine and legit other than that.
Let him get out of here. So,
Those ones are mine. Those ones are legit.
okay, we still have to impound them anyway until you can prove that they are yours, okay?
You can call the Social Security office.
we
I
have
can
to
tell you
impound
the
them.
names on those. I have 3 children. So why are they being taken? Like I
It's
said,
all going to go with your
call.
property. It's all going to be impounded.
Impounded, what does that mean?
It means it's going into our property.
Okay,
That's
will
where
I
they
be
will
able
keep
to
the
give it
property.
back?
Yeah,
Because I can't replace those.
yeah. We have a property clear. You get your stuff back once we're done. As long as you're able to prove that they're yours, then yes, you'll get them back.
You can call the
detective.
Social Security office on 73rd.
A detective.
Everything in that, especially the 2 IDs, are mine in the purse.
Okay.
And you can check up with Walgreens on Clark. I went and got the passport ID yesterday.
Okay. Well, right now you're under arrest for identity theft.
This is where everything becomes official. Identity theft, forgery, and theft-related charges. These aren't minor offenses. Depending on the jurisdiction, each one can carry significant prison time, especially with an amount like $28,000 involved. And notice her reaction. Whatever, I'm trying to take care of my kids. That statement is emotionally powerful, but legally it doesn't negate the charges. Courts may consider personal circumstances during sentencing, but they don't erase criminal liability. Now here's something to think about. Should intent and personal hardship reduce accountability in cases like this? Or does the scale of the crime outweigh the reasoning?
Whatever. I'm trying to take care of my kids.
Hey, thanks.
She's in possession of.
Well, she's also in possession of a driver's license that has info on it too. So it's identity theft at the very least.
At the very least, yeah.
How many IDs does she have with different names on it in her picture?
This is the same.
Those are both the same?
Yeah, this is the same driver's.
So just the one? And then she's claiming these 3 sole
Just
proprietors are her
piece-
children's,
Yeah, piece of paper.
which all have the same last name, I believe, as her. Correct? Fully? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that might all check out. So a paper ID for identity theft right now. And then we'll see about this check. Alright.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
How much time can I get for this?
Here, so what they say? They said the check
I
was
said it's a
good.
good check.
Okay, it's just under that other lady's
Yeah,
name.
it's under someone else's name.
Okay.
But it's a valid check.
All right.
Hello? How much time can I get for this?
That I don't know. That's up to a judge.
This case is a textbook example of how quickly a situation can escalate, from a simple ID check to multiple felony charges. The key issues here revolve around fraudulent identification, possession of suspicious financial instruments, and conflicting statements. If convicted, the judge would consider factors like intent, prior record, and the amount involved, but with a $28,000 check, the consequences could be severe. At the same time, her claim about being influenced by someone else introduces a possible defense, but that would need solid evidence to hold up in court. So now it's your turn. What do you think? Was she knowingly involved? Or could she have been manipulated into this situation? And what kind of sentence would be fair here? If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.